Well, hello and welcome to another Back to Basics Healthy Living session. I am Brenda Holt, the Associate State Director of Community Outreach for the Arizona State Office of AARP. We are the nation's largest nonpartisan nonprofit agency dedicated to empowering people 50 and older to choose how they live as they age. During the month of February, we will be focusing on caregiving by providing specific tools and information to help you tackle any of your post-holiday and future concerns regarding caregiving. We understand that the caregiving journey can be difficult and lonely, but we want you to know that you're not alone. We are here for you and will help you to navigate the challenging road ahead. Feel free to visit us at aarp.org/caregiving for resources and information. And also you can visit us at www.aarp.org near me for all of our virtual events as those that you're going to see here today. I am so happy again to see Sherry Ann, who is going to talk to us today about what topic?
Oh, we're going to talk about healthy aging, how to age
Oh,
with energy, beautifully, gracefully. Everybody, talks about dreading about, another year. And
okay. Well, I think we
I,
just had that
I
conversation.
was like, you just said it too.
I just said it. How did I get here, right? How did I get here? So, okay. Okay.
But yeah, as people are tuning in, please definitely let us know where you're tuning in from. And if you have any questions or comments, please do not hesitate to go ahead and put those in and I'll answer them as we go along. And if not, I always circle back around and get them answered. So let us know where you're tuning in from, please.
Okay.
But I'm excited to be here. So yeah, healthy aging, it's a continuous process of optimizing our opportunities to maintain and improve our physical and our mental health, our independence, and our quality of life. So there's all these things that go into aging that people just don't really take the time to put energy into and think about. And then all of a sudden they wake up one day and they're like, how did I get here?
That's,
Like,
that's
it's
what I just said. Like, I would look at my mom and say, ooh, ooh. Now I'm looking at myself saying, ooh, like where did all the time go?
yeah.
And then how do we learn how to, as they say, age gracefully?
Right. And beautifully and wonderfully and just improve your quality of life. We want to be here for many years to come to see kids and grandkids and, you know, leaving a legacy behind. But, are we really thinking about taking care of ourselves in that process and, and what that looks like?
Mm-hmm.
And so the things that I will be sharing with you today is there's a common thing here at Back to Basics, and so what I'll be sharing with you today is just the foundation of what I've always been sharing in Back to Basics. And the first thing that you're going to need to do and really focus on is eating well, and I've gotten away from using the word healthy because people tend to like, what does that look like? But just eating well, choosing right. And like I've always said, eat the rainbow. When you're at the store, make sure that you're picking out bright colors, and blue is one of my favorite. I love blueberries right now. They're delicious. They're in season.
Mm-hmm.
But make sure you're eating the rainbow, go through the produce section. Here at my house, we specifically shop for our produce predominantly at Sprouts, because they source
Okay.
locally and it's all just a condensed way of just instead of going through a produce section at a food store, at a grocery store, whether it be Fry's, Albertsons, or Safeway. It's just a different experience when we go to Sprouts. Plus, they sometimes carry things that you're not normally going to see at a regular food store. And
True.
so it gives you an opportunity to try some new things. So just make sure that you're eating the rainbow. And then, of course, getting in that fat and protein. We also have a tendency as we age, like to stay away from that, because we don't want to put on the extra pounds. But you need fat. You actually need fat in order to digest appropriately and utilize some of the nutrients in the foods that we're eating. And you need it for your joints. So
So what should we be eating for, as far as fats and proteins? What should we be eating?
you can go ahead and do lean meats, but make sure that you're getting plenty of olive oil, or, you do avocados. Avocados are a great source of fat, really good for your skin as well. And the other benefit to eating well is it actually makes your hair better, your nails better, things don't get as brittle. So
Okay.
it's just eat well. Try to stay away from packaged and processed foods. There's lots of things in those that we don't need in our body. Our spleen
So
and our liver works hard enough. We don't need to like put foreign things in there that's like, what is this? Uh,
okay.
And plus, usually those foods are really high in sodium. And so it's, oh, Cheryl, I see that you say you wish you had a Sprouts there.
Mhm.
Maybe look around. Maybe there's a different type of just strict produce store. I can't even think of what other ones there are.
Mhm.
I can't really think of any, but we are pretty lucky to have Sprouts here in Arizona.
Or farmers markets, or
Yeah.
if you can find
And
those. Yeah.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that actually, because we're coming into that season where, you know, across the nation, I mean, yes, some people are still facing winter, but we here in Arizona hit 81 degrees the other day, which I was not happy about. So,
Get
no.
ready. Get ready.
So, yeah, so farmers markets are kicking up, popping up everywhere here in Arizona, but they will be coming in the rest of the United States. So,
Mhm.
take advantage of those, because that's once again supporting, local growers, and you're getting, more nutrient dense vegetables when you're buying at a farmer's market
Mhm.
for
Okay.
sure.
Nice.
And supplements. I get asked about supplements all the time. And we've covered this before in some of our shows before. Supplements are really beneficial, but I really want you to focus on trying to get as much as you can from your foods.
Okay.
You need, and here in Arizona, believe it or not, we are vitamin D
D.
deficient,
Yeah.
which is insane because we have the sun
Mhm.
so much.
Mhm.
So spend about 15 minutes outside with the sun on your skin. Like, get
Okay.
sun, allow your body to create that vitamin D. Um, Vitamin C, just to help with your immune system, and zinc. That's the other one that's really good for immune system. And if you're lacking in energy, look at a B12.
Okay.
Get a good, but look at the sourcing of your supplements when you're looking at doing and buying supplements. Just make sure it's coming from a good source.
Okay.
And I know that's hard to tell, but look at making sure that it's um, the capsule is like a vegetarian capsule, so that your body can actually digest it and break it down. So just look at where they're coming from and making sure that they're not super mass produced, and just get good quality. But if you can, the best thing to do is just get it from your
Get
foods.
it from your foods.
That's what
Okay.
I'm saying. Eat the rainbow.
Mhm.
Really
Okay.
eat the rainbow so you can get as much of that in. So that's number one. What do
Okay.
you think number two is? It's moving.
Exercise.
Yes.
Exercise. Yep.
You got to move your body. And like I've said before, 5 times 30 minutes a week. And if you can't do 30-minute blocks, do 15 and 15 minutes. That's
Okay.
totally perfectly acceptable.
Doable. Okay.
Um, and if you're a person that types to wear like a Whoop watch, or you have your Apple Watch that marks your steps, or, there's so many different devices out there. So if you're counting your steps, try to get in at least 7,000 steps a day.
Okay. I fall a little short of that, but I do about 3,000 a day.
So
Um and still I think that's better than nothing, but
100%.
yeah, that's better than, but 7,000, Sherry Ann. Okay. All right.
So 7,000 steps, they've kind of figured equates out to be about 30 minutes of exercise. So that's where that
Okay.
comes in. So if you're
Okay.
at 3,000, like if you go for a 15-minute walk in the evening with your
Mhm.
husband, like
Yep.
there you go.
And
You're
that's what
done.
I go to the mailbox, and that's a ways away. And so
Okay.
that's kind of my walking for the day there and back. But now that you said I can do it in increments, I hadn't really thought about that, but probably should now before it really heats up, is to do,
Yes.
an evening walk. Okay. All
Yeah, or
right. So
take
about,
advantage of our cool mornings, because
yeah,
it's still really cool in the mornings.
we
So
are. So 7,000 steps. Well, where did we used to hear 10,000? We used to hear 10,000 steps.
right, but they figured out that 7 is probably closer to about a 30-minute. That's what I'd like to say is bare minimum. Like,
Okay.
the more you get, the better off you're going to be, because
Okay.
as you're doing things, also, especially if you're walking and doing weight bearing exercises, that's going to be better, especially for us as women with bone density, because and everybody does lose bone density and muscle mass as they age, but
Hmm.
if the more you're moving and the more you're maintaining it, the healthier you're going to be.
Okay.
And if you want to incorporate some resistance training and just doing light dumbbell exercises, that's even better. But just getting out and doing some weight bearing exercises, and strengthening those stabilizer muscles that are going to prevent everyone from falling. And stabilizer muscles, meaning like your ankles, your lower leg, making sure that you are walking sometimes on uneven ground. And if you're not stable, make sure you use a cane, just to
Okay.
give you some stability. But it's just about exercising and using those muscles that we don't typically normally use that will help us from falling. you
Okay.
know and practicing, sitting down and standing up without using our body or using our arms. Like really use, the hip girdle and the legs to, stand, because that's all stabilizers. Because if you do trip, you want to be able to try to catch yourself before you fall on the ground, and there's all kinds of um, information out there about like how to teach you how to fall actually,
Okay.
so that you don't stick your arms out in front of you, because then you run the risk of breaking your wrist.
Okay.
Learn to like crumble and go to the your buttocks or your side, because that's the meatier part. But if you drop straight to your knees, like
Okay.
it's gonna hurt really bad.
Okay. Well, I have noticed since getting a little older that I don't just jump up when I'm on the couch. I have to do that little one rock now before I get up. So I'm working on that, but I just kind of noticed. I'm like, wait a minute. I wasn't doing this before. I could just jump up. Now I got that little, and then the second time I'm up. But I'm like, okay. So thanks for telling me that that rocking, that rocking back and forth to try to get up, stabilizing. So I
Yep.
need to strengthen my core then. Would that be a suggestion to strengthen my core?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. And
Okay.
then just allowing your legs, like, because it's our hip flexors in the front. Like sometimes what I'll tell people is when you're sitting, pick both of your feet up off the ground, put your feet on the ground, and then stand up.
Okay.
Rather than hoisting your body forward to get up, like pick your legs up, put them down, and
And
as you
down
put
and
them down,
stand
you
up.
just stand up.
Stand up. Okay. Thank you.
And that will really help to strengthen those legs.
Okay.
And so, but the other benefit too of exercising, and they have done studies on this, because as we age, the exterior of our skin, which is our largest organ, gets much thicker, like in the sense of like leathery, but
Hmm.
the epidermis below that does get less. And so it's just kind of the way our bodies work. But if you exercise and you do promote cell turnover in your body, your skin actually looks healthier and you look younger.
Well,
So
now
those that exercise
that's a
will look
plus.
younger.
Yeah,
So
that's a
that's
plus.
another benefit to get out and go for a walk.
It is. Okay. Thank you.
So yeah, so we have eating, cleanly and good. And then we have, so as questions pop up, go ahead
Yeah.
and you can read them out, Brenda, to us, and we'll.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Audrey says I'm gaining weight after turning 50. I'm not sleeping well. My hair is turning gray, dry, and brittle. Okay.
So that can be the balance of your hormones, because
Okay.
I see that you're asking that as well. So as we age, yes, if you're exercising and eating well and making sure that you get that fat in there, that is going to help all of the keratin in your body, your hair included, nails, skin, to be better and not as dry and brittle.
Okay.
And gaining weight as we age is typical because our metabolism typically slows down as we age, unless you're exercising on a consistent basis. And then it's not going to. So weight gain as we age is definitely a thing, but there's two things you can do. One is really focus on your diet and eating clean and managing yourself there, but also getting in exercise. Or you can continue to eat the same that you're eating if you want, and then just exercise a little more. So it's just finding that balance of input and output. But yeah, as we age, our metabolism typically does slow down.
Okay.
And how can you balance your hormones?
Hmm.
That's a great question. And there's no easy answer to that, Audrey. I'm sorry. I would definitely probably seek out some advice from your PCP. And the thing is because as we age, our hormones do shift quite a bit, especially because with women, we have menopause. And so if you are in a big swing, you might need some hormone therapy. So there's no easy answer to that. Unfortunately, I'm going to probably just have to point you to your doctor to ask them about how to balance out your hormones, because it's just way too specific for each individual.
Person. Okay.
So,
Okay.
so the next one is brain. So we want to make sure that we are keeping our cognitive ability there, because as we age, it does start to wane if we're not doing things to do it. And so one of my favorite things to suggest to people is, if you've never taken dance lessons, go take dance lessons, because not only are you moving your body and getting exercise, but you're doing something totally new, and you're making your brain do memory exercises with your body, because you're having to remember steps, and then you're also socializing, which is, the next one that we're going to get to in a minute here. But dancing is so great for the brain. It really, really is. And so if you haven't tried it, I strongly encourage you to go take dancing lessons, because how fun would that be to get your partner and be like, hey, let's go try something new.
Okay.
Because the brain, when you're combining movement with brain, it's a lot of, it helps with you cognitively in a major, major way. So, but if you don't want to try dancing, just try to learn new activities, because that's going
Okay.
to help your cognitive abilities stay sharp. And
Okay.
so that could be learning pottery. That could be learning oil painting. It could be
Mhm.
creative writing. It could be, learning how to write poetry. It could be making jewelry. It really could be anything that you want it to be, but just try some new activities that force you to learn. It could be playing an instrument,
Okay.
if you have access to a piano or guitar. Uh, so go try something new, because because brain games, are good, but they're not as good as really putting yourself into something that's forcing you to learn something new.
Okay.
Um, oh, Cheryl, I love that you go play
Yeah,
pickleball.
pickleball. Okay.
So
Learning a new activity. Yeah.
I don't remember where you're from. I know you've been on before and you've shared it,
Okay.
but pickleball is huge here in Arizona. Oh, you're from
Okay.
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay.
So it's huge here in Arizona, pickleball.
Okay. Pickleball. Okay.
So good for you, because that's a
Uh,
great physical
Yeah.
activity, but
Try
you're
something
not,
new.
do you know what pickleball is, Brenda?
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. So it's wonderful because you're not on as big of a tennis, as a tennis court.
Tennis court.
Your
Right.
racket's, it's a little easier to
Yeah.
manage.
Yeah.
Um, and it's a hoot. It's a fun game. So good for
Mhm.
you, Cheryl. I love that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
And Audrey says, great. She said, I just joined a Jewish dance lesson class at my church. Class is 2 hours on Saturdays.
That's
Wow.
perfect. Awesome.
Okay. See, so something new, a new activity
That
to
will be fantastic.
yeah. So
Uh,
does that like scramble the brain when you do, because it's learning how it knows your daily patterns for the most part. So
mhm.
by incorporating something like that dance class, does it like scramble it, or does it make it more focused, or what does it
It
do for the
doesn't
brain?
scramble it, and it doesn't
It
make it
doesn't
more
scramble it.
focused. What it's doing is it's creating new synapses in your brain. So our
Okay.
brain has
Okay.
all of these connections. And so when you have new synapses that are formed, it just
Okay.
makes the brain stronger. Because if you stay on the same patterns as always, they just start to kind of break down and not be as sharp, and then you just don't
Okay.
have them as well. So when you're creating
Okay.
new ones, it makes the whole brain function
Function better.
sharper and faster.
Okay. And she says tap dancing lessons. That's another one.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's
yes.
another one. Yeah. Okay. They're coming. They're coming.
Well, and if
Okay.
you're not into, doing classes or, doing something as dance, if that's a little too out for you,
Mhm.
then go take like a Tai Chi or a
Yeah.
yoga or a
Okay.
meditation class, because you're
Yeah.
still going to be moving your body, especially if you're doing something like a power yoga,
Okay.
and it's a little quieter, a little more subdued. So there's things to do, you can do. And the one thing about Tai Chi too and yoga and dancing, all of it is going to help with balance.
Right.
And one of the biggest things that people have as they age with
Age.
fear is the fear of falling. So
Yep.
all of those things are going to help with balance.
Okay. And Audrey says, should she stay away from carbs and sweet foods forever to keep her weight down?
No, I'm never like an all or nothing girl. Like, you gotta have moderation,
Yeah.
because we're here to live life,
Piece of
not
cake. Yep.
starve our way through life. So it's all about moderation. So no, I'm
Mhm.
not telling you to stay away from carbs and sweets forever. But if you're talking about carbs, like, just try complex carbs. Instead of a
Mhm.
white potato, try doing a sweet potato.
Mhm.
And sweet foods, just keep them to a moderation,
Yeah.
and do them early enough after dinner, because I always have a sweet tooth. Like, I have these really yummy dark chocolate covered almonds that are also rolled in like a sea salt. And
Okay.
I'll grab like 4 of them, just to like give me something sweet, but then I'm
Yeah.
done, and so it's just training your brain to not, and
Mhm.
to not go crazy, and then but also serving yourself in moderation. Like,
Right. Yeah. Mine is prunes.
oh yes.
oh wow. And I had a candy habit that I knew I needed to drop. Peppermint was my thing. I used to eat peppermints. And I stopped eating the peppermints and I incorporated the prunes. And they have a dual purpose, obviously, too. So it solves the sweet tooth and it helps with digestion.
Yeah,
So and they're sweet. And so I do love prunes. So okay,
that's
very
good.
good. Okay, very
That's
good. Okay.
awesome.
Uh, buttermilk pies. Okay,
Oh,
not
yeah.
heard of that one.
Yeah,
That's different. Buttermilk pies,
that's
really?
good.
Okay.
So our fourth one is
Okay.
connect. Make sure that you are connecting with, friends and family, either making new friends, maintaining your friendships. A lot of research has been done that on relationships, the benefits are huge. It gives you a higher self-esteem, gives you greater empathy for others. You're more trusting. You're actually more cooperative, which
Okay.
that's a challenging thing as people age. They become less cooperative usually because it's the fear of losing independence. But if you have a connection to other people, you're just more cooperative because you're more trusting. And plus, having a connection with other people gives us purpose. It gives us a purpose and a reason to get up. Because when people, and I've covered this before on one of our sessions, was retirement. Like, how do you prepare for retirement? Because
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
people's jobs, give them a purpose. But once they retire, it's like, what are they going to do? What is their purpose? And that's where you want to find hobbies and connections so that you do have a purpose. So staying connected is probably one of the most important things that we don't talk about.
Okay.
But having connection and relationships with people is massively so important as we age. And that's what's going to help you really age gracefully.
Okay. And we become more easy to deal with. That's
Yes.
Ah,
But as people are aging, one of the things that I do want to touch on before we wrap up here in 10 minutes is, people think about, as they're aging, do I want to age? And we covered this 2 weeks ago about how to start the conversation of long-term care, because it's a challenging one to start,
mhm.
and do you start, do you want to have the comfort of your home? Or do you want to have the comfort of a care facility, having physical and medical need, your needs met with a ring away? But a lot of people want to, like the idea of going to where everything is right there for them,
There.
a care
Right.
home. But the cost is astronomical. And most people aren't even prepared for the, bare minimum of like 50K,
Yeah.
to do that. And so it's like, so what do we do in our homes, and for people that have aged parents, or if they're thinking about it themselves, like, how do we start making, modifications to the home?
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's a challenging thing to do. And because as people are aging, the reality is their home isn't going to be as functional as it once was.
Used to be. Right.
And so I came across two books, and we'll have them on the banner here for you. The first one is Stupid Things I Won't Do When I Get Old by Stephen Petro. And it's a great book about just not being stubborn, and actually really doing the things that you're going to, to set yourself up for success. So Stupid Things I Won't Do When I Get Old. So if you're looking for resources on how to uh, age and with your home, and doing things out and about and whatnot, and just how to keep yourself safe, it's a great resource. The next one, though, is really, really good about modifying your home. And it is Age in Place, a guide to modifying, organizing, and decluttering mom and dads. And this one was really good about, I didn't even think about some of the things that were in this book. One of the biggest things is don't wait till a crisis happens. Don't wait till there's been a fall or something major, so start addressing the things when you know that it's a potential down the road.
Okay.
And things like rugs, like trip
Mhm.
hazards, or if you have pets, like
Yes.
dogs are like
We
70% of the
do.
causes of
Yeah,
falls where
we do.
elderly end up
Yep.
in the ER. So
Mhm.
address pets, but rugs, like runners in the kitchen, like easy to turn on, and adjusting the
Mhm.
lighting,
Mhm.
making sure that there's railings in appropriate places. Like the
Yeah.
bathroom is one of the most dangerous places,
Yeah.
stepping in and out of a tub. And they've gotten really fancy with some of the railings that you can put up in bathrooms. They don't have to look, industrial like hospital railings. They're
Right,
actually
right.
really, really
Really
cute.
nice. Okay. Okay.
So there are a lot of things that you can do for modifications to a home just to start making it safer. Um, and one of the other things too is decluttering your home. Like
Yeah.
declutter causes so much
Oh,
stress for
right.
people,
Right.
and but no one really addresses it. And so when you're decluttering your home, it just allows the space for it to be much cleaner and easier to navigate and manage. So when you're decluttering your home, I liked this trick that I came across. There's 5 categories when you're decluttering a home. So category 1 is keep. Category
Okay.
2 is to give away. You're just going to give it away to either family or neighbors or friends or whatever, just giving it away. 3 is to sell, whether you're doing a garage sale or you're going to take it to a resale shop. You're just selling it so you can make a little bit of money on it.
Okay.
4 is charitable donation, which that tends to be what ours is. We do a lot of donations here in this house. And I mean, one of my favorite ones is Sojourner Center for women who
Okay.
are for battered women. And the fifth category is trash.
Yeah.
Just throw it away.
Just throw it. Just get rid of it.
And you're
Okay.
not allowed to be like, oh, I'm going to decide on this later. Nope. Once you start, it has to go in one of those 5 categories. And if you're going to
Okay.
keep it, you're keeping it for a purpose. Not,
Okay.
it's got to have a purpose. So decluttering is a huge benefit,
Huge.
just
Okay.
clearing out space. One of the other things too is, and I learned this in this whole process, is making sure that your car is appropriate for you.
Oh
There's
yeah.
so many bells and whistles on cars now to make you be
Mhm.
safer. I mean,
Mhm.
lane changing, there's now every car has a backup camera.
Yep.
I
Mhm.
mean, there's so many alerts on cars now. I think it
Mhm.
was, and I remember I was reminded because I had a rental car not too long ago, and it actually reminded me that I was driving a long time, and it's like, time for a coffee break. I was like, what? Like, it told me to take a coffee break, which I thought was so bizarre, but kind of cute.
They know too much, don't they? They know. Why don't they pay themselves? Pay their own car notes. Do me that favor. But yeah, okay, I got you. Okay, yeah. Well, smart cars is what we call them now.
Yeah.
Smart cars. Okay, wow. So the car told you it's time to take a coffee break.
Right.
Wow.
It's like,
Okay.
I don't need
Okay.
a break right now, but
I don't
thank
need a
you.
break right now, but thank you for reminding me. Okay. Wow.
But yeah,
Okay.
there are a lot of cars that can, because I think that's one of the biggest concerns too with especially if you're dealing with aged parents. Like, at what point do you say, hey, it's not safe for you to drive anymore? But maybe you can evaluate the car and see if you can make the car, do a different car that might be safer.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you know that, nowadays, it's you kind of hate to say it, but they're in the business to sell cars.
Oh,
And
sure.
so if you go in there and buy a car, I've seen some ladies that, are of an older age or more mature in these huge pickup trucks. And I'm like, well, tell me that's your son's car and you just have it for the day. You please don't tell me that's yours, and she's, one of these numbers, right? And so you kind of go, who sold you this vehicle? But yeah, but the cars, you're right, we're so advanced now until
Mhm.
that is helpful to have those gadgets, the backup
Mhm.
cameras, the side cameras, and all of that. So that's good. So
Yeah.
okay, well, I know we've got about 2 minutes left. Sherry Ann, what are we going to be talking about in our next session?
Our next session is going to be about stress management.
Ooh,
So, yeah,
okay.
because AARP's theme for March is finances
Okay.
and how to manage it, and that always brings up stress. And plus,
Okay.
people are definitely now going back to the workforce. Mask mandates are being lifted. Like, there's all
Mhm.
kinds of things happening, and so it does create a lot of stress
Okay.
and fear in people. So we're just going to do some stress management.
Okay. Well, listen, I have taken some notes that I will adhere to, and I know others have, and they're commenting on. Some are saying that they're taking tap dancing classes, and one signed up for a writing class in Prescott, and so we always enjoy the interaction, from our audience, and we have a great instructor to just lead us down the right path for healthy living, healthy aging. And as usual, Sherry Ann, this has been, again, a great class, and you've given us a lot of tips to live by. Don't forget, the books are available that she talked about, The Stupid Things I Won't Do When I Get Old, and The Aging in Place, for decluttering. So maybe pick these up, and maybe we can read these. And Cheryl says, thanks, Coach and ARPAZ, for another great session. She said that, she'll see us in 2 weeks. So that's what we like to hear. And Madeline, from Portland, Maine. What
Oh,
time is it What time is it? It's like noon,
it's
right?
12:30. I
It's
love
12:30.
Portland, Maine.
Yes.
Maine is one of my favorite.
Okay.
Over there, right
Okay.
there's my Acadia poster on the
Okay.
wall. I love
Okay,
it.
there you go. And then Audrey says, thank you. This was very good. And so I agree. These sessions are really
Oh, thanks.
helpful to us. And we appreciate all that you do for ARP Arizona. And I think that's good. Oh, she said 12:30. She came right back. Yeah, we knew that. It was like 12:30. She's on the East Coast. And so that warms our heart to know that people from all over. Okay. Do you
Mhm.
have anything else you wanted to
No,
impart before we
that's it.
leave? Okay.
Don't be afraid to jump in and age gracefully. It'll be a lot of fun. Don't be afraid of it.
Okay. Well, this is helping me. I got a birthday coming up, so this has been really helpful. I'll
Awesome.
try to get those 7,000 steps in. So,
Good. Yes.
okay. All righty. Okay. Thank you, dear. And we will see you in 2 weeks where we will be talking about stress management. Okay. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for joining us.